series of videos will look back at the 1975-76 season, as Q.P.R. looked to build on an impressive few years and challenge not only for a European place, but for the First Division Championship. Manager Dave Sexton had built on his predecessor Gordon Jago's side, and he had real experience in the team. Also, he had multiple internationals. Gerry Francis, Dave Thomas and Ian Gillard had all started for England against Wales during the summer, before Francis scored twice in a 5-1 win over Scotland, cementing the belief that we had a special squad of players. Sexton then looked to add to his squad, bringing in John Hollins from Chelsea. Hollins had played over 400 times for Chelsea, winning the FA Cup, the League Cup and the European Cup Winners' Cup. So he brought a real winning mentality with him. And as he approached his 30s, he was someone who could fill in multiple positions for Q.P.R.
It was at a time where Chelsea were new stand at that time, I think, and changing things round, and new players, new manager. Eddie McCready had taken over. Didn't see me as part of the plans. Butch Wilkins coming through, various Clive Walker, other youngsters coming through, and said, well, you know, we can sell you on. And Dave Sexton came in, went to Q.P.R, and really it was like F Troop, all the old guys there. I think I was the youngest. But from going from one club, which was always built around young players, to a side that was relatively, they were all internationals, and from day one, from being there, I mean, Frank McClintock, Dave Clement, Phil Parks, Bowles, Masson, Givens, Thomas. There was a hell of a lot of experience.
For pre-season, Rangers travelled to West Germany for a 3-match tour, beating second division side Wuppertal 2-1. Then they beat Paderborn 6-2, but the big game was against reigning German champions Borussia Mönchengladbach. Now, the German side had just won the Bundesliga for the third time in 5 seasons, and had also just won the UEFA Cup. It was a glorious era for them. They would go on to win the league again in 75-76 and again in 76-77, so they were a tough opponent for Rangers. Their team was full of World Cup winners such as Bertie Vogts, but they would prove to be no match for Dave Sexton's Q.P.R. side.
This is Wimmer. Through to Jensen, a real chance, and the German champions in the league, 1-0. Masson. Everything starting from midfield for Rangers. Good looking ball to Givens. He's got options here, and Stambols puts Queen's Park Rangers level. Fantastic effort from the London side. Bowles' his corner. Up goes Webb, and Rangers ahead. It's a great header from Dave Webb. Rangers looking very, very comfortable on the ball. Dave Clement joining the attack. Lifts it towards the far post, and Stambols! Well, there's a collector's item. A header from Stambols, and Rangers have 3. Thomas will take it, but leaving it for Bowles. It's headed away, but lofted back in there again. Masson. It's a great turn from him, and it's Webb again. A second goal for Dave Webb, and Rangers have 4 and are walking it.
So a stunning win for Q.P.R, and belief was growing that this team could really achieve something special. A week before the start of the season, Rangers travelled to Spain to play in the Bilbao tournament, where we faced Portuguese champions Benfica in the semi-final. Goals from Stan Bowles, Dave Clement, Dave Webb and new boy John Hollins helped us to a 4-2 win. Benfica would go on to win the league again that season. We faced Athletic Bilbao in the final, but lost 3-0 to end an impressive pre-season for Rangers. So with pre-season over, it was time to start the new season. And it was going to be a tough start for Rangers, facing Liverpool, who were a trophy-winning machine. They had won the league and UEFA Cup in 1973 and the FA Cup in 1974 under legendary manager Bill Shankly. But since his departure, new manager Bob Paisley had overseen a trophyless first season at Anfield. Still, they were going to be tough opponents and were one of the favourites for the title that season. Rangers had never beaten Liverpool, losing 7 of the previous 8 games against them. The school end was full of red and white scarves supporting Liverpool at a packed Loftus Road, as Rangers looked to get off to a winning start in front of the Match of the Day cameras.
First, second and second again. That's been Liverpool's record in the First Division Championship these last 3 seasons. So it's not surprising to see the huge red army of supporters following them south at the beginning of this new campaign. Interesting ball from Nasson, there's Givens, and he's going to make it, is he? No! A superb recovery. Bowles. Thomas to his left. Just too high for Bowles. Here's Francis. Oh, he got over that beautifully, did Francis. Kept it down. That was well played by Bowles to Francis, and Givens. Back to Francis. It's a good chance here. Oh, superbly taken by Gerry Francis. Queen's Park Rangers 1, Liverpool 0. A swift, good build-up that by Queen's Park Rangers, carving a hole in the Liverpool defence. Givens playing his part, Francis going through for the return, and a sweeter finish you could not wish to see. Thomas. Still on for the cross, here's Francis. Leach! Oh, superbly headed in by Mick Leach. He always has had the knack of coming from deep positions, and the substitute makes it 2-0.
Phil Parks threw it out and they never touched the ball. It was unheard of that Liverpool never touched the ball. Of course, Emlyn Hughes was putting his hands up for offside, but they never touched the ball. It must have all happened in a minute. He was that good.
I think what really gave us the confidence, if that was needed, or the belief, if that was needed, was the opening game of the season against the team that were winning the league year in, year out. It was Liverpool.
So a great start to the season for Q.P.R, beating the favourites for the title. But it wasn't enough to hit top spot on that first day of the season. Newcastle got off to an impressive start as well, winning 3-0 away at Ipswich Town. Newly promoted Aston Villa lost 2-1 at home to Leeds, and just 3 days later they were heading south for a midweek game under the lights at Loftus Road. Rangers had to make 2 changes from the side that had so comprehensively beaten Liverpool. New signing John Hollins limped off in that game, so was missing here, whilst Dave Webb was ruled out with an Achilles injury. Ron Abbott slotted into defence, and veteran Mick Leach moved into midfield. The injury problems worsened for us when Frank McClintock was taken off after being on the end of some tough tackles, so John Beck came on and moved into midfield, with Leach moving to left-back and Ian Gillard and Ron Abbott forming a new centre-half pairing. Despite all those changes, Rangers took the lead on 59 minutes when Gerry Francis made it 2 goals for the season, angling in a fine shot. Despite Rangers dominating midfield, we were forced to settle for a point when Keith Leonard headed in his 11th career goal for Aston Villa, and what was his first goal for them in the top flight. Newly promoted Manchester United's 2-0 win at Birmingham meant they were the only side with a 100% record, as the second round of fixtures showed just how tight the league was going to be. There was 9 draws in 11 matches played that week, which included Liverpool picking up their first point of the season with a 2-2 draw at home to West Ham. Next up for Q.P.R was a trip to the reigning league champions Derby County, and we made the trip missing our first choice centre-halves, with McClintock and Webb both missing for injury. Sexton turned an 18-year-old Tony Tagg, who faced a daunting debut in a Q.P.R shirt. Given the changes to the team, you would have expected Derby to win the game comfortably, but Rangers showed what a good team they were, producing one of the shock results of the season. We took the lead after good work by Bowles and Givens, and that was finished off by Dave Thomas. Q.P.R made it 2-0 just 4 minutes later, after a long clearance by Phil Parks was pounced on by Bowles and he headed past the keeper. Scottish international Don Masson tried a free kick routine, tapping it square for Dave Clement, and he smashed the ball into the net for number 3. Bowles added a 4th before completing his hat-trick with a penalty, which he chipped down the middle of the goal, A year before, that famous penalty star was named the Panenka. Derby pulled one back through Roy McFarland, but Rangers had sent out a message to the rest of the league, thrashing the champions 5-1 in their own backyard and completing an impressive hat-trick of beating the reigning English, German and Portuguese champions within a couple of weeks.
Well, they were obviously the reigning League One champions, Derby, when we went there, and we won 5-1, but it was a much tougher game than that. I mean, Derby's pitch was never the best, well, I don't suppose people remember, but it was always not the greatest of pitches. But at times we were under a lot of pressure during that game. But our turnover and our breaks and the way we changed pace and got into our forward movement was tremendous. And certainly we were a real good footballing team on the break.
So Rangers were up to third in the table. Newly promoted Man United were top after making an impressive start. Tommy Docherty's young side thrashed Sheffield United 5-1 at Old Trafford to show that, like Q.P.R, they were going to be another team to look out for. We faced a trip to Wolves next, naming an unchanged side, and we took the lead through Don Gibbons' first goal of the season. John Richards equalised for Wolves on 19 minutes before we retook the lead on 31 minutes, thanks to a second goal from Don Gibbons. In an eventful first half, the home side were given a penalty right on half-time after a foul on Richards, and the penalty was converted by Kenny Hibbett. Neither side were able to find a winner, so we had to settle for a point, whilst West Ham's 1-0 win at Spurs moved them above Rangers into second place, before the two sides met at Loftus Road with the big match cameras in town.
And first of all today, let's catch up on the two teams. Both, in fact, are unchanged. Rangers still without the injured Webb and McClintock, but Johnny Hollins has recovered from a hamstring injury and he is the substitute. West Ham, meanwhile, field the side that beat Tottenham in midweek, and Johnny Ayres is now their sub. Quite a test again for the young Rangers defender Tony Tagg, 18 years old from Chessington in Surrey. He'll be running up against the man who scored those two cup final goals, Alan Taylor of West Ham. 5 goals already this season. The crowd, boisterous but well behaved, 28,000 strong.
Well, I'm sure West Ham will remember that at Upton Park in January in the mud, Masson scored a very good free kick goal against West Ham. 5 men in the wall. And Masson and Bowles and Clement there, who really clobbers them too. Not sure if they're undecided as to what to do or just trying to fool everybody. It comes to Bowles. Oh, and he hit the crossbar. Well, all that talk that went on before that free kick may well have been to confuse the opposition. The short ball from Masson, and Bowles caught it well left-footed. Day was lost, and the crossbar saved him. Well, the referee decided that was a push by Taylor on Gibbons. And it's a free kick to Rangers. Don Masson will take it. Oh, and Day got it and lost it. And Gibbons has placed it in. And the goal stands. The referee looked at both his linesmen. Well, that was a soft one, if you like. Mervyn Day lost the ball. It looked as though he might find it again. And it dribbled through to Gibbons, who couldn't believe his luck, planted it home, and put Rangers 1-0 into the lead. Brooking, Robson. He's given it to Bowles. Nice turn there by Bowles. Nice bit of jinking there. And again, trying to get a 1-2 going with Masson, but Tommy Taylor was there. That's why it's always worth paying money to watch Stan Bowles. Lampard's header. Pat Holland. Lock, challenged by Leach, and the ball runs loose now for David Thomas. Bowles, curling it, oh yes, no! Well, well, well. He found himself a half a yard and curled that in beautifully, Stan Bowles.
and it hit the inside of the post and somehow stayed out. Leach has come up into a strong attacking position on this near side, and it's aimed towards Mick Leach, going in there with a header! Good save by Day. Great free kick again by Gillard, and Leach timing that run and jump once again to perfection, and a good save by Day. Now it's with Bowles. Still with Bowles, right foot, and again Day saved, and that time he couldn't hold it, and Taylor had to play it back to him. Now Gibbons to Clement. Masson. Gibbons. Dave Thomas. Oh, it'll come for Leach, and it may come through for Thomas again. Oh, what a save! Well, Thomas could hardly believe it. That was beautiful play by Mervyn Day. Good play between Leach and Thomas. A blistering shot from close range by Dave Thomas on the turn. And a really strong reaction save from Day. Now it's Bowles. Thomas. Good cross again by him. Oh, and fisted away once more by Day. That coming off his defender, John McDowell, I think it was. As that cross swooped in, McDowell misdirected it, and Mervyn Day made another really brilliant save. Masson to Thomas as the game opens right up again. Leach up, Bowles up, and on this side of the field, Gibbons up. Onto the left foot, and a corner. Well, there were two or three things open to Dave Thomas there. He took it upon himself to try the shot. But the West Ham defender, well, the Rangers defenders then lining up to knock that one away. Everybody in the Rangers half of the field now, except Mervyn Day. And here's Trevor Brooking. West Ham with less than 10 minutes to draw level. Billy Jennings on the far side. Yes! Well, as that one came floating over, it seemed that he had no chance from that angle. But he hit it scorchingly into the roof of that Rangers net. Thomas letting it run. But finding Robson at him. Still Dave Thomas. Masson is up there, Gibbons is up, Hollins is coming up. There's Gibbons. Hollins. Tossed in again towards Don Masson. Here's Stan Bowles. Now, is that for Bowles? No, it's not, because Day was out at him like a tiger. And Locke was right in there too. Bowles just got that onto his right foot, and it looked for a moment as though it might work for Rangers. But both Locke and Day hurled himself at him. And there goes the final whistle. An honourable draw after a very skillful game. I think Rangers might feel that they had slightly the better of things, with more aggression and certainly better chances, but West Ham battled hard and kept at their job, and in the end were rewarded with that goal from Billy Jennings just 7 minutes from the end. And so we come to a final scoreline of a game that's been filled with skill. Queen's Park Rangers 1, West Ham United 1.
So another draw for Q.P.R. Bay was still an unbeaten start to the season. Man United's win at Stoke kept them top, and meant that they, along with Q.P.R. and West Ham, were the only three unbeaten sides in the First Division come the end of August. Leicester, Wolves, Sheffield United and Birmingham were all still looking for a first win of the season, but with 2 points for a win, the league was very tight at this very early stage of the season. Don Gibbons and Stan Bowles were the top goal scorers with 3 goals each, followed by Gerry Francis with 2 goals, in what had been a great start to the season for him individually, as Francis was named as the new England captain by manager Don Revie. A great honour, and he remains the only Q.P.R. player in our history to become England captain.
Yeah, I think that outside of the England manager, I would say, particularly now as media attention, I think it was just starting to get really heavy in the end of the 60s into the 70s. And I think, other than the England manager's job, I would say that's the biggest pressure issue that's being captain. It depends how it's going. If things are going well, it's not so bad, and if things are not going so well, you're going through not a very good sort of patch the side, the international side, it can be a major burden. And we had some good times, and we had some not so good times at the time.
So a good first month of the season, and there was still loads to come. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give us a like and subscribe to the channel. Coming up in part 2, our League Cup campaign gets underway, and we face a top of the table clash against Manchester United.